2 underway here on Sports Talk 790, and we started off with a very, very special guest. First of 3 we're having on the program today. Wex AC, Dan Matthews with you on a Thursday edition of the show, and Pete Rose joining us right now on the hotline as the Fitterman Autograph Show of Texas is going to be going down this weekend. It actually starts tomorrow through Sunday over at the Westin Galleria. You can get tickets online at FittermanSports.com. Pete, this is one of those situations where we've been dying to talk to somebody like you for a long time. Never been able to talk to you, and it's a pleasure to have you on. First of all, how are you, and what's been going on here in the first few days of 2024 for you?
Well, I'm doing great, and I'm in Las Vegas. That's where I live. I'm coming to Houston for the show on Saturday and Sunday. Fetterman is my man. I've been signed with him for several years now, and we have a good time, and we cover a lot of ground. So how's your day? I mean, Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too. I guess I should have started with that. No, we're doing fine. We're doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, with the Texans trying to stamp a ticket to the postseason. And obviously, the Astros have been top of mind for a long, long time in this town. What have you thought about, just starting right there, of their sustained success here in Houston and what they've been able to do in the modern era of Major League Baseball?
Well, first of all, I got a lot of respect for Dusty Baker. I played against Dusty. I played with him in all-star games. He does such a good job as a manager on the field, and you got good players down here in Houston. I mean, it's no secret why you win, because you got good players, and you've had good pitching over the last several years, and that's what it takes to win in baseball. And I expect the Astros will probably be a good team this year too. Next year, I guess it is.
The state
of...
You
got good players. When you got good players, it's a little easier to play together and win. Because when you don't have good players, it's really hard to win in Major League Baseball. And you guys got good players on that Astro team, no question about it.
When you consider what the baseball looks like in 2023 and now 2024, some of the rule changes, pace of the game, pitch clock, things like that, non-shifting availabilities. How do you view things as where the state of the game is?
Well, I'm one of those guys that I would just leave the game alone. It's been good for over 100 years. Three outs, it's a half an inning, 9 innings is a game. I think the one thing that helped baseball this past year was the clock. Getting the guys from stepping out of the batter's box and adjusting their gloves on every pitch. I never did quite understand that. I'm not a big proponent of putting the man on second to start an extra inning game off. But I guess it works, and baseball knows what they're doing, I think. And they really don't need my advice. They got great players in baseball today. They're making a lot of money. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that anybody is worth $700 million to play the game of baseball. But, the guy who got the money is probably the best player in baseball today. And he's got a pretty good teammate, Mike Trout. So only time will tell. I mean, you start giving a guy $70 million for 10 years, hey, you're going to expect a lot. And be honest with you, you should get a lot. And now I don't know if he's going to be able to pitch or not, because he has some Tommy John surgery on his elbow, and he's still got that money. So I know he can hit. He's a home run hitter. Is he going to be the same in Dodger Stadium as he was in Anaheim? I don't know. Time will tell. But he joined a good team with the Dodgers, good players surrounding him. But there again, he had good players surrounding him in Anaheim. And I always look at a guy and see what was the end result. Did they win or did they lose? And I don't remember seeing the guy making all the money in the playoffs the last several years. I want players who are used to playing in the playoffs. I want players who help their team get over the hump. And that's what disappoints me about Mike Trout. Mike Trout's a great player, a great talent, but he never leads his team to the promised land. Willie Mays and Hank Aaron's and people like that, they always led their team to the promised land. if you're a great player, you got to lead your team to the promised land. And these great players playing today, they make a lot of money, no question about it. God bless them. But they don't really get to the ultimate goal, which is playing in a World Series and winning a World Series.
Well, playing in a World Series, winning a World Series, something the Astros have done twice, once before the 2019 MLB report, now once after. From your standpoint, the way that Manfred doled out that punishment, handled things with the players, the way the fans were basically given the opportunity to treat the team however they saw fit, those were the commissioner's words. How do you think that whole thing was handled when I think we all know there is more than just a singular team in Major League Baseball that might not have followed all the rules as the rules state from a sign-stealing standpoint?
Well, you can help me out with this because the last time I checked, it didn't affect any players. They got rid of the general manager, correct?
And the manager.
And the manager. So what did either one of those guys have to do with stealing signs and stuff like that? It was the players. And when you let the players get away with something like that, what's that tell the rest of the players who want to get out of line, so to speak? You know, you got to penalize the guy that did what they did. And I don't, I'm not here to do the commissioner's job, but that was a bad situation, no question about it. But there again, I really don't know the proper way of taking care of that. I know, and it really saved the Astro players from having to go on the road and take all the flack they were going to take from the visiting fans on the road. So that part of it was pretty lucky for the Astros.
Yeah, and I thought we're talking to Pete Rose here on Sports Talk 790. He'll be at the Autograph Show of Texas, courtesy of Fitterman Sports this weekend. It's the Westin Galleria. You can get tickets at FittermanSports.com. But yeah, I think that one of the things that maybe isn't talked about enough is that probably the fan base of the Astros took more of the scorn than maybe anybody involved. Would you agree with that?
I think you're right with that, and that doesn't make much sense to me. I get a kick out of you said the Galleria. When I was a baseball player going to Houston to play the Astros, we used to always go over to the Galleria and watch the girls ice skate.
Do tell.
They used to have a skating rink over there.
They still do.
They still got it.
Watch the beauties of Houston ice skate all afternoon. That's what I remember about the Galleria.
Well, I'm happy to say, Pete,
I'm going there to sign autographs.
That's a pretty nice deal for you to go from that to this. I was there when you were here. I did attend one of the 1980 playoff games between the Astros and the Phillies. Do you regard
that was a great series, by the way?
That's my question. To me, that's maybe one of the all-time greatest series. You won 3 games, all in extra innings here in Houston to close things out.
Yeah, anytime you have a 5-game series and it goes 5 games, it's going to be an exciting series. And I was lucky enough to play in what I think the most exciting playoff ever, and I got to play in the 75 World Series against the Red Sox, which a lot of people say was the greatest World Series ever. I remember playing a game in Old Colt Stadium. Remember Old Colt? You're too young to remember Old Colt Stadium. But I got a hit one day there in extra innings, and Nellie Fox made an error, and I scored. I don't know how I worked my way around the third, but I scored a run, and we won the game 1-0. And Ken Johnson, who pitched for the Astros, pitched a no-hitter, and we won the game 1-0 because Nellie Fox made an error. I don't think that's ever happened before, getting no-hitted and still win the game. That's some of my recollection with the city of Houston. And let me tell you something, that Old Colt Stadium, it was hot, man. We had to play Sunday night games because it was so damn hot during the day. But you have to do what you have to do. And I remember playing in the Astrodome, from Colt Stadium to the Astrodome in '65. And that was a lot of fun for me because whenever I was a baseball player and I left home to go to the ballpark, one thing I wanted to do was play the game. In other words, I didn't want rainouts, and especially when you're on the Big Red Machine, because the more rainouts you had, the more double headers you had in September. And when you're in a pennant race, which we were every year, a double header usually means a loss. It's hard to sweep double headers, especially in September. So the least amount of doubleheaders you have, the better off your team was. And that was good. One good thing about playing in the Astrodome, you never got rained out.
Pete Rose joining us here on Sports Talk 790. He will be part of the Autograph Show of Texas, courtesy of Fitterman Sports. You can get tickets at FittermanSports.com. The Westin Galleria is the venue, and Pete's going to be there on Saturday and Sunday. Pete, you're the only baseball guest on the schedule.
That's good. I mean, maybe the people coming are baseball fans.
No, I think there'll be plenty of that. It's obviously Friday, Saturday.
I usually do shows with Mr. Fetterman, and Ric Flair is usually there, and Mike Tyson is usually there. We're all in his stable, and I really don't know the other guests. Maybe you could help me out. Who's some of the other guests? Probably going to be basketball and football players. For sure.
Vince Young's going to be there. Hakeem and Clyde from the Rockets will be there. Jerry West, Dr. J, Carl Lewis is going to be on hand. And some of the Sting's going to be there. Sergeant Slaughter, some of the wrestling. By the way, you mentioned that group, that eclectic group. What's it like being at a dinner table with those guys?
Well, Ric Flair's a hoot. Mike Tyson is one of the nicest guys in the world. Those are the guys I usually sign with. Jerry West is a prince. I mean, he's just a great basketball player from West Virginia, and he's just a good man. It's Dr. J. I do a lot of shows with Dr. J, and of course we were in Philadelphia together, him with the Sixers, me with the Phillies. So I go way back with Dr. J. But Ryan usually has a good lineup. That's one thing he does for the fans, is he gets the best guests he can possibly get to do the show. And that's why he knocks the doors down when he has a show.
Absolutely.
Hey, there's nothing like Fetterman Sports, man, when it comes to autographs and meeting celebrities. Ric Flair is funny. I don't know if he's going to be there this week or not, but he is a hoot. I mean, that guy, woo! I mean, that's all you hear when you go to the show, from the time he walks in until the time he leaves. But one thing he does, he takes care of the fans. He's very cordial with the fans. As all the guys that Fetterman have at his stable, they're all nice to the fans. That's what shows are all about, young man, being nice to the fans and hoping they come out to see you.
Well, Ric Flair is going to be there, and he's supposed to be joining us on the program tomorrow, so I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag after we end this here. But, Pete, we really appreciate the time. FittermanSports.com for the tickets. It's the Autograph Show of Texas this weekend over at the Westin Galleria. Pete, we really appreciate the time. It was a pleasure, and good luck this weekend.
Hey, thank you, and keep up the good work spreading the world of sports around that Houston area, okay? Everybody appreciates it and appreciates your job to do. So keep up the good work, and you guys have a happy new year, okay?
You too, and I hope you get to catch some skaters while you're at the Galleria.
Okay.
All right, Pete Rose here.
I'm too old for skaters now.
I'm not going to put it past you. I have faith in you, Pete.
That's like I was doing a show the other day. If I got time, tell you one story. And a guy asked me, he said, what do you think you'd hit if you were playing today? And I thought for a moment, and I said, well, I don't know, 200, 205? He said, wow, pitching's really that good? I said, no, you dumbass, I'm 81 years old.
And scene. Good stuff, Pete. We appreciate the time, and have fun this weekend down here in Houston.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Pete Rose here on Sports Talk 790. Really no way to top that, so we'll take a quick timeout. We'll come right back. Bobby Marks at the bottom of the hour here on a Thursday edition of the A-Team.